What's up, everybody? I'm Steve and welcome to Jerome's Chrome. This is my 2009 Impala. It was headed to the scrapyard for an overheating issue, but instead I bought it for $350 to see if I can give it a second chance. I actually bought it about a year ago and it's been sitting here ever since, but I could use a little spending cash for some other projects right now, so now's the time to finally circle back around to this thing and get it running. And right now, I'm not 100% sure what's wrong with it. I'm not 100% sure how to fix it. And I'm not 100% sure if it's even worth the time. But there's only one way to find out. Let's get to work. I really don't know a whole lot about the history of the car. I got it from a guy at work who basically just fired it up one day, was heading to work, and it overheated. And he pretty much just said he was done with it and sold it to me. He was going to take it to the scrapyard and sell it for $250. I gave him $350, picked it up from his house, parked it here, and haven't done anything with it since. It could be something as simple as a thermostat. It could be a water pump. It could be a radiator issue. It could be a blown head gasket. Basically, I'm willing to put a little bit of time and money into it to see if I can sell it as a running, driving car. But if it's going to take a lot of time, effort, or cash, I'm probably out and I'm just going to go ahead and sell it the way it is. The interior is pretty nice. The exterior is in good shape. And the car was running great until it overheated. If it could just be something simple like a thermostat or a water pump, this is a great buy and sell to make some extra cash for my other project. So that's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping it's something simple, can get it fixed nice and quick, and get it back on the road and in the hands of somebody who could use it. Oh yeah, I just remembered. There's two things wrong with this car. Totally forgot. It does have a parasitic drain. So the battery is draining on it in like a couple hours, it's dead. So something is going on in there that's causing that battery to just be wiped out in no time. I have no idea how to figure that out, but that could be a learning experience on its own. I'm going to completely ignore that for now and just worry about the overheating issue, because if I'm not going to get that fixed, there's no need to worry about the parasitic drain at this point either. And it has the Dex Cool in there, so I do believe that there is some potential issue with that stuff getting nasty, and I think this might be nasty. Yeah, a little rust color, a little sludge color. I don't know if that's the color of rust or the color of Dex Cool, to be honest. I'm also thinking maybe it has something to do with the electric fans. Maybe they're not kicking on. Maybe there's some issue electrically there, which is causing the fans not to kick on and the parasitic draw. I don't know. I guess the first thing I'm going to do is just see if the car starts, fire it up, let it run a little bit, see if the fans kick on, check the hoses, see if the top one's hot and the bottom one's hot. Because if one of them is cold, then we know it's not flowing. So that's what I'm going to do first. Fire it up, check the fans, check the hoses. I wonder what the chances are of this thing actually firing up sitting here a year. The negative terminal's been off the whole time. I have interior lights and air blowing at me. Huh. Let's see. Fired right up. Huh. Sweet. Got that going for me. I mean, it's not bellowing white smoke right now, so maybe that's a good sign. Man, this thing's purring like a kitty right now. So at least I don't have catastrophic engine failure going on, probably. So I'm just going to let it warm up for a little bit, and I'll get right back with you guys, and we'll see if those fans kick on and how that hose situation works out for us. Well, we still don't have fans on at the moment. This one's getting a little bit warm. Bottom hose, cold as ice. But I'm gonna let it warm up a little bit more, see if those fans kick on and go from there. There we go. We got fans, so that's not the issue. Top radiator hose is definitely warm, and this bottom one is still very cold. This top one is really, really hot, and that bottom one is really, really cold. Then we have a flow problem. I don't think that would be a head gasket either. I think that would be a thermostat or a water pump or a radiator. Most likely a thermostat or a water pump. Don't quote me on any of this. I'm just guessing and reading stuff on the internet, so we'll check that temp one more time. The fans just kicked on even higher, and that hose is still cold. Man, this car seems to be running okay. Still no smoke anywhere from the engine or the exhaust. The temperature is getting up there a little bit. The fans have kicked on, and the hoses are still cold on the bottom and warm on the top. So I think I'm going to shut her down, think for a couple minutes, and then put together a plan. Well, I did a little thinking, and I guess at this point I can't even be sure that it even has coolant in it. So I think what I'm going to go do is get a couple jugs of water, open that thing up, fill her up to the top, turn it back on, and see if it goes in or not. All right, I've given it some time to cool down, so I'm just going to pop the cap, put some water in there, put some water in there, fire it up, see what happens. That was about 5 ounces. Okay, I got her all filled up to the top. So I'm just gonna fire it up now, and that water should go down, and I'm just gonna keep topping it off. I don't think that's what's supposed to happen. I don't think it's supposed to volcano out of there. I think it's supposed to warm up and go in there. Okay, we got the top hose getting hot. We got the bottom hose not getting hot. When I dump the water in, it's not flowing at all. It's just pushing it back out. I'm gonna assume that the coolant or water is not flowing through the system. And hopefully it's just a thermostat. That would be so cool. So what I'm gonna do now is just pull that thermostat out, bolt the housing right back on with no thermostat in there, start it up, and then see if it starts flowing from there. So our thermostat housing or water neck is right in there. I gotta take that little nut off that stud, and then on the back side underneath there's another bolt that I gotta pull out, and that should be it. It's not in the most optimal place to take off, but could be worse. That's not cool. That's not cool at all. Okay. Okay, I think this first one's no big deal to get to. I'm just guessing it's a 10 millimeter because, you know, man, this would be cool if this is just a thermostat. Wouldn't that be awesome to get a car for 350 bucks, replace a thermostat for, I don't know, 20 bucks, detail it up, make some cash, put that cash into the C3 Corvette or flat Beddy, get one of them rolling, and get somebody a car that may not be a piece of junk. There's one, got that stud, that was the easy one. Now, let's see if I can access the bolt in the back. I got a little coolant coming out now. It's still a little bit warm. So I'm just gonna let that flow down there into a pan. And once it starts draining out of there and I can get my hand in there again, I can finish getting that bolt out of there and we'll be free. Not gonna lie, it's kind of stupid where this thing is at. Can't see it either. Maybe I should take off some of these coolant hoses to give myself some access, but I'm too stubborn for that. You know me. I'm just gonna do it the hard way and struggle instead of, you know, doing the necessary things to make the job much, much easier. What I need right now is a flex head gear wrench, but they're at my house. This job will be done by now, I do believe. Okay, I gotta take the radiator hose off. It's getting in my way and making this job way more difficult than it needs to be. Yeah, okay, got it. Gross. That should help getting that thing out of my way. I think I'm to the finger part now. I'm getting some small turns. This thing's dumb. A battery operated ratchet would really help in this situation. I should have brought that thing. I like a Chevy 350 where the thermostat is like right there, right in front of your face, right there. Easy. This is not it. This is dumb. But maybe, there we go. Woo! Finally got that thing. Man, that could have been a whole lot easier. There's the housing. And there is the thermostat. Now I cannot tell you if this thermostat, well, I can't tell you anything about this thermostat, but I'm just gonna hook this back up in here now, throw that aside, and we'll fire it up and see what happens. It should be way easier to put in, right? Oh, it is going in a whole lot easier than it came out. Fantastic. Okay, that's good enough. Good enough for testing purposes only. Okay, thermostat out. Got it all topped up with water again. Fire it up, let it warm up, see what happens. Well, we got some bubbling. Without a thermostat, I'm pretty sure this should just start flowing immediately and not at a certain temperature. So I have concern. Honestly, I'm pretty sure that I should just shut it off. Poop. I guess it's not a thermostat. Well, a couple things. First thing, it just dawned on me that I went through this whole process and I haven't even checked the oil yet. So I guess I should pull the dipstick and see if there's some milkshake in the oil, because if that's the case, then I know it's for sure a head gasket. Second, I had my mind set on thermostat and that was the reason why it wasn't flowing, and that it wouldn't flow only because of a thermostat or a water pump. But it will also not flow if it is pushing combustion gases from the engine back up through there and bubbling out like that. Long story short, I guess the combustion gases push the coolant up and don't allow it to go back in. So first thing I'm gonna do now is check the oil, see if there's a milkshake. After that, I'm gonna get a combustion gas checker kit thing and put that on there. And that will tell me if it's for sure a head gasket, if the oil's clean. Okay, let's see what we got here. I think I checked this. I think I didn't check it because I already checked it when I first got the car. Yeah, that's clean. There's nothing going on with that oil. No milkshake whatsoever. So, yeah, I guess the next step is to get one of those test kits that you hook up, pour the chemical in there, and it changes color if you have a head gasket issue. So Guess I'm gonna run up to the auto parts store now and grab one of those and be right back with you. I'm back from the auto parts store, and this is what I got. This is the test kit, and this is the fluid. Basically, you put that on the radiator, put the fluid inside, give it some pumps, and the fluid is blue, and if it turns yellow, you have combustion gases in your system. All right, I've never done this before, but lucky for me, it comes with directions right there on the box. So let's just see what we got here. Okay, so shove that in there and fill it up to the line. I'll get a closer view of what this looks like once I get the whole thing rolling so you can see exactly what this looks like. But there's basically a fill line on here. There we go. Now I just start the car, stick this thing on there, pump it while the engine's running for 2 minutes. And after 2 minutes, if it's still blue, I'm good. And if any point in time in there it turns yellow, head gasket. Well, that's 2 minutes and it's still blue. Okay. Well, the testing solution stayed blue for like 3 minutes. And then once I got done with that, I poured more water in there and tried to burp the system, and that didn't do anything. It's still barfing coolant out of the reservoir. So I don't know what to do right now at this point. So the Google is telling me at this point in the process that if I start the car, let it run, and the heater does not work when the heat is on, then it's the water pump. But if the heater does work, then it's a clogged radiator. That's just what the Google is telling me. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It's been running for quite a while now. The temperature is up to temp, heat's blowing, and it's not at all hot. Okay. So if the Googs is right, it's a water pump. It's probably not a head gasket because it doesn't have the milkshake, and I did the head gasket water test vapor thingy, and it stayed blue the whole time. The top hose is hot and the bottom hose is cold. I mean, it's obviously not flowing through there. You can just see with your eyeballs that it's not flowing. It's going backwards instead of in. I initially thought it was going to be a thermostat or a water pump, but then I started doing the research and was like, oh no, it's probably the combustion gases. And then now I'm back on the water pump thing. I think that's where we're at. I guess I need a minute or two to think about what I'm going to do, but I'm pretty sure I'm just going to go to the auto parts store and get the cheapest water pump that they have and go from there. Well, it's a week later now between my schedule and 9,000 mile per hour wind and rain. I haven't been able to get back over here and circle back around to this car, but I did get a water pump, and honestly, I'm within driving distance of my house with this car. It only takes like couple minutes to get to my house, and it takes like 10 or 15 minutes for this thing to really get hot. So if I just fire it up and hustle over to my house, should be no big deal, and then I'll be able to install that water pump in my garage. Just throw that negative terminal on there. Okay, this should fire up, no big deal. Cool. All right, I don't have time to mess around. Let's do this. Look at that, got it all the way home and it didn't even get close to warmed up. No big deal. First time out of the field in a year. looking a little bit dirty. It's got some leaves piled up on it and some sticks and things and some crud. I don't know if it really shows up on the camera as good as it does in real life, but the car could use a really good detail. And a really good detail will make a huge difference on the car. No use thinking about details yet. Still don't even have it running. I got this Murray water pump. It was not the cheapest water pump. It was not the most expensive water pump. It was the water pump in the middle. It had the lifetime warranty instead of the 1-year warranty. I didn't want to get the cheapest one, you know? Number one, I don't want to put in a broken part. And number two, try to sell it to somebody as a pretty decent car. If this actually works, then I still only have $100 into the cost of the water pump and not a whole lot into the car at this point. So I figured I could go ahead and spring for the middle of the road water pump. All right. Got the car home, no issues. I'm ready to install the water pump. The only problem is I'm not exactly sure how to install the water pump. So I'm gonna go do a little bit of research and then we'll get started. So I watched 2 videos on how to do this. So I figured that is enough to at least kind of get me in the ballpark and get started. I do know step 1 is remove battery. So that's what I'm doing right now. Cables are off, and now I just need to remove this little clip to get this wire out of the way so I can pull the battery out of there. Should be no big deal. Pop that thing, maybe. Okay, let's see. How's this work? How's that thing come out of there anyway? I just watched a video on it. Come on now. That's not it either. What am I doing? Is it back there? There it is. Got it. Man, I'm dumb. But there it is. All right, got the clip wire out of the way. Battery cables out of the way. Let me just see if I can wiggle this battery out of here without taking this brace off, because one of the videos they did and one of the videos I think they didn't. So I'm gonna give it a shot. All right, she's wedged. It's wedged in there. I should have taken this brace out. I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. Okay, the brace is out of the way, which will hopefully make getting this battery out of here a little bit easier. Took off the front of the fuse box cover. It's blocking me. Oh yeah. There we go. Battery. Step 1. Done. Okay, now we have some access. The water pump is back here behind this pulley. So the next things I need to do to be able to access it is get this little bracket right here out of the way. I need to get the belt out of the way, and then I need to remove this pulley to give me access to the water pump. So bracket's off, it's attached to this hose. I got the bolt back in there just to make sure I don't lose it. If I need to take it out later, I will, but for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and store it there. The next step I need to figure out is how to get the belt off. I know there's a tensioner system in there somewhere. I gotta get my ratchet on there, give it a little push, and it'll give it some relief. I just gotta figure out where that situation is at right now. So I need to go get my flashlight. So I think to see what I need to see, I'm gonna have to remove this coolant overflow tank. So I just gotta pop these 2 nuts off the top here and remove this thing. Hopefully, it's just those two nuts on top. Yeah, easy peasy. Now that the coolant overflow tank is out and I have some good access, I can see down in there finally and see what I need to get out. Right here is the tensioner bolt. I need to make sure I loosen that up. And then after that, right here, there's a little square the size of a 3/8 socket. So you can basically slide that in there on a long breaker bar, and then that will give you the tension release to be able to slide the belt off. So next, I just got to loosen that 15mm bolt right there, and then loosen up the bolts that are on the pulley. And then from there, release the tension, remove the belt, and start to access the water pump. So I'm going to loosen up the 4 bolts on this pulley now while I have belt tension and take them out later. But I think that I want to go ahead and just get them loose now so that way it's not spinning or anything. And then, oops, and then fully pull them out once I have the belt off. All right, I got those all started. So now I'm just going to loosen up that belt tensioner bolt and should be good to get that belt off there. Just slide that back in there. Okay, it's loose. I'm not sure how loose it needs to be, but I guess I'll just, start there. Now I got my 3/8 adapter on my 1/2-inch bar. Just gonna slide that back into that slot back there. So I'm just trying to get that in there, I think. Okay, I'm in. Now, let's see if this works. Okay. I'm gonna need to set this camera down right quick, but it's working. All right, sliding that forward. Boom. Belt is off. Awesome. Okay. What's next? I guess it's taking this pulley off. So I'm just going to go ahead and get these out of here, and then we should have access to the water pump. All right. Bolt number 4. So now I'm just going to get in here and give this thing... Oh, I didn't even have to really give it much of a wiggle. It just came right off. There we go. 1 water pump pulley. Kind of gross on the inside. And there we are. There's our water pump. So next step is just to get those bolts off of that thing and get it on out of there. Well, I can't believe I'm about to say this, but all 5 of those bolts just came out of there really easy. And now I just got to pull the water pump out of there. I'll be. Just reach on in there and give it... Oh! Came off pretty easy. Oh, yeah. There's the problem. It's broke. Here's more. More of it. Yes. I mean, it's bad that it's broke, but it's good news that it's broke. Because if it's broke, that means it's probably the problem. Yes. I just got to get in there and find the gasket, but... That? Is that the gasket? That's not as good as the gasket that came with the part I just ordered at all. Okay, here's the actual gasket. It was really stuck on there good, and I had to get it on in there and bust it off. But this is the actual gasket that was on the water pump for the car. But there is a big difference between that water pump and the new water pump. I'm no 2009 Impala water pump expert, but I'm going to say that this one here is broken. I don't think it's supposed to be like that. I think it's supposed to be like that. Wow. That's obviously the problem that's going on here and why it's not pumping any fluids through the system. So I don't want to celebrate yet because the car isn't running yet, but I'm going to give that one solid fist pump because that's awesome. We found a problem. Morning. It's the next day, and I'm going to be honest with you. I'm pretty excited to get this car put back together again. First thing I need to do is just clean up the area where the old gasket was stuck to the engine, get that cleaned up so I can get a nice good seal when I put on the new gasket and water pump. This is what it looks like now. I think it would definitely be a good idea to prep that and get it as clean as possible before putting on the new gasket and water pump. So I got some brake clean, a little rubber scraper, and a rag, and I'm just gonna get to work in there cleaning that up as good as I can, and I'll show you whenever I'm done. Well, I scraped and I cleaned and I scrubbed and I even busted out these little mini scratcher pads, and I did the best that I could. I'm pretty sure this is about as good as it's going to get. I mean, I went over it several times and put quite a bit of effort into it, so I think we're good. So at this point, it's time to put the new water pump on and start putting this thing back together. I got my gasket, got my water pump, boom. Got my first bolt. I gave them a little shower and brake clean also to kind of get them cleaned up. I'm just going to throw one of those in there to hold the gasket on, get it started, get all those bolts kind of finger tight before I torque them down with a torque wrench. I basically can't get it in because the camera is in my way, so you're just going to have to trust me that I actually did this. I'm supposed to torque that down to 8 foot-pounds. I'm pretty sure that's just hand tight, but I'm going to go ahead and bust out a torque wrench anyway. This company here, Seesii, sent me this thing for free. I'm supposed to do an honest review of it in one of my videos in return. So here we are doing an honest review of this torque wrench. I'll be honest, I can only really give you like a partial review for it due to the fact that I'm just now getting it. I'm using it one time, and I feel like a real review involves multiple uses over the course of time, but I'll let you know what I think of it first glance and how it works out today. If it's a piece of junk, I'll let you know. If it's good, I'll let you know. I've never used a fancy digital one, so I'm just gonna see how I get this thing set up to go beep, 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 beep whenever I reach the right number. Well, I guess one benefit to the torque wrench is that I read the directions and figured it out and got it set up in a couple minutes, so there's one thing it's got going for it. All right, first one. Sweet. All right. Okay. Gives you a little buzzer to let you know you're getting close, and then another buzzer to let you know you're getting closer, and then the final, like, you're there buzzer. And it's got a little readout on the screen here that shows me how many foot-pounds I'm currently at. Okay. I mean, no complaints so far. Listen, I'm no torque wrench expert, and I only used this thing one time, but that went well. Next, I gotta reinstall the pulley. I'm gonna clean out this crust that's in here real quick before I throw it in. Just giving it a little hose down with some brake clean and scratching it with one of these little pads. Just to get that layer nastiness out of there while this thing's off. putting this thing back on. Just got to screw it back onto the water pump and then torque it down to 18 foot-pounds. So I guess I'll just get after it. All right, I got all those 4 bolts finger tight. Now I just got to torque them down to 18 foot-pounds. I went ahead and slid the belt back on and tightened down that tensioner pulley. And now I'm just sliding this bracket back on here real quick. And then from there, I'm pretty sure that I just got to put the overflow tank back on and the battery back in. And this thing is reassembled. Done. You know, maybe I should take the time, clean this thing out. I don't know if I want to get into it. Let's see. Okay, since this comes off easily, I guess I'll take the time to clean this thing out a little bit because there's some sludge in there. So inside there is buildup of gunk and sludgy residue. So I just want to give it a little bit of a clean in before I button up this system. So I'm just going to cap this hose end with one of these vacuum line cap things. Pour a little simple green in there, full strength. Give it. There's a hole here. You got to cap that hole. Also, before you give it a shake, once again, we live and learn. Ew. Probably should pressure wash this mofo. I don't really want to set up my pressure washer right now, though. Yeah. All right, that came out extremely clean, like pretty much brand new. So I'm gonna go ahead and throw that bad boy back in there real quick. Get those snug down. Battery. In. All right, got our positive tightened down. Plug that back in there. Put it on our negative. And the water pump is reinstalled. I think this car is just about ready to fire up and see if that was the only issue. So everything's reassembled except for the thermostat. I didn't put it back in because I'm gonna flush the system once I confirm that everything's working. Right now, I'm just gonna fill it up with water to kind of get it going. Once I make sure that everything is working correctly, I'll flush the system and then add the coolant that's supposed to go in there. But before I do the thermostat and before I do the coolant, I just want to make sure that this thing isn't going to overheat. Because I guess I can't be 100% sure that it's fixed yet. I just know that the water pump was messed up. There could be other issues from it overheating that I haven't found yet, maybe. So, we'll see. Got her all filled up. Now I'm just kind of gently squeezing the lines to try to burp out as much air as I possibly can with my hand here first before I go through the actual burping procedure. So to finish getting the air out, basically what I'm going to do is just put the cap on here, barely on there, just get like one thread, fire it up, run it at 25 RPM for 40 seconds, shut it down, top it up, fire it up, 2,500 RPM for 30 seconds, repeat, then 20 seconds, repeat, let it cool down, top it up, should be good. You got to hook the battery up before you start the car. Very important. All right, here we go again. Before I start giving it to 2,500 RPMs, I just want to check it out real quick. Uh-oh. It was coming out, so I screwed it back on. Why? Why is it coming out? It should be very much going in. That's not cool. Man, it is doing the same thing. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me right now. You got to be kidding me. Man, really? Why? I just put the cap on and ran it at 2,500 RPM for 40 seconds. That's not how you're supposed to do it, but I don't know yet. Oh, that just made a noise. It might still just have a huge air bubble in it right now. That's what I'm hoping for. It's bubbling and dropping down. Giving the hose a little squeeze. There's bubbles coming out. There's definitely air in the system. So, I don't know. I'm going to just go through the procedure with the cap all the way tight. See if I can make some progress. There was 30 seconds. Okay, I'll do it for 20. Okay. That time it stayed at the top and didn't suck it down. This might be working. It's not exactly the right way, but it might be working. Well, that wasn't at all the way that was supposed to go, and I'm not sure if I even accomplished the right thing. But the next part of the procedure is supposed to be to run it at 4,000 RPM for 3 seconds, idle for 3 seconds, repeat 4 times. So I'm going to do that. That didn't necessarily go according to plan. And I'm not 100% sure if that worked. I think that it's burped. I'm not sure that it's flowing. Right now it's too warm to open it up and check. So I either have to let it cool down, fire it up, see if it's flowing, or just let it run for a while and see if it starts overheating. I know that's not the best thing to do, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. So right now, I'm just sitting in the car, having a water, and monitoring this temp gauge. See what happens. I'm going to monitor it real close like, and if it starts getting up there real high, I'm going to shut it down before it overheats. I really wish this thing had a more accurate temp gauge at this point, but it is what it is. So, yeah, I guess that's what I'm doing. I guess I'm just going to let the car run and see if it overheats. Well, I've been sitting here for 21 minutes now, and the temperature has not moved at all. So I'm starting to think maybe I fixed it? Could it be? I mean, 21 minutes before, I'm pretty sure it would have been in overheat mode. So that's a good sign. I think it's fixed. I think the car could potentially be fixed. I don't even think the fans have kicked on at this point. Maybe I should go ahead and put the thermostat back in at this point, but nah, I'm gonna flush it. Okay, this car has been sitting here running for 40 straight minutes now, and that temp has not budged at all. Get some cooling system flushing stuff. I guess I'll go ahead and get a new thermostat, even though I'm unsure if the old one was good or bad. So I'm just going to pop that battery cable off there to make sure the battery doesn't die. Let this thing cool down for a little bit. And then after it's cool, I can do a little bit of flushing on this cooling system, put the thermostat back in, and this thing should be good to go as far as the cooling system is concerned. It's the next day and I'm pretty pumped. I normally don't get to work out in the garage on Monday, but the boy's taking a nap. I got the monitor, I got a little bit of time, and I think I might be able to get this flushed out and the thermostat installed before he wakes up, so yeah. So I'm gonna give it the Prestone Total Cooling System Cleaner. Step one is to drain the system of as much coolant as I can, so I'm gonna get under there and drain the radiator first. I'm excited to see what this coolant's gonna look like. It looks kind of gross. I'm just reaching around in here trying to find the petcock or the, oh, there it is. I'm on it. Give that a little turn and we're flowing. Probably want to take the cap off there so it flows a little better. Oh yeah, that did it. So let's see what we're working with here. Oh, that's bad. Okay, that's pretty orange. I know the Dexcool is orange, and I know Rust is orange, so it's kind of hard to tell, but I'm glad I'm getting that out of there. I guess technically I don't need to flush the system to sell the car. It's not my car, and they could flush the system on their car, but I figure while I'm in here, maybe, you know, go ahead and go the extra mile because it's the right thing to do. So I'm glad I'm doing it. That's pretty gross. Okay, now we just pour in the stuff and then fill it the rest of the way up with water. Put the cap back on, and then it says I need to run it for light cleaning 10 minutes, heavy duty cleaning 3 to 6 hours. I don't know how long I'm going to run at this point, somewhere between 10 minutes and 6 hours. It's the next day again, and I did run it for a couple hours yesterday, and I ran it for about an hour today, and everything seems good so far. I did have to re-burp the system again after I drained it and put the cleaner stuff in there because it got another air bubble, and I did it pretty much the way I did it last time. I just had to keep the cap on, rev it up, and then after I revved it once with the cap on, took the cap off, it goes and you can hear a big bubble pop out of there. I think I really underestimated earlier how big of a deal that was when I said, oh, that made a funny noise, or whatever I said. Oh, that just made a noise. Anyway, the final steps for the cooling is going to be to drain it one more time, and then I'm going to put the thermostat in, put some coolant in, and then once I got it all rolling again, if everything is still working the way it is now, I'm going to do a pressure test on the system just to make sure there isn't any leaks. I probably should have did that earlier in the process, to be honest with you, but I'm doing it last just to make sure. If I do see any leaks, maybe I will just be able to fix them, or I might have to throw some K-Seal in there. We'll see. But for now, I just got to get the cooling system cleaner stuff out, put the thermostat in. And hopefully it's a little cleaner and a little less thick than it was before. Well, that's what I got out of it, minus the leaves and debris. That wasn't actually in the car, that was just in the oil pans. But I'm not sure if that's rough looking or not. to be real. I'm not sure what the Dextron coolant looks like when it's used, because I'm pretty sure every vehicle I've ever had uses the green and not this. So I am obviously no expert in cooling systems and definitely no expert in this fluid, but I'm assuming that's pretty rough. So next I'm gonna pull out that water neck, check the mating surfaces on that, see if I need to get that cleaned up. Probably do. Clean that up, get the thermostat installed, and get this thing filled up again and see if we're good to go. Well, this came out way easier the second time than it did the first time. And I got the mating surface all cleaned up with that this connects to. I got this all cleaned up as well, and I'm ready to throw the thermostat in. I'm just gonna put the littlest, tiniest amount of gasket maker along the edge of this. Just a glaze on there. I don't want anything getting inside there and going into the cooling system. So just along the edge, just enough to kind of make the best seal possible. Like, I'm literally putting that much on there and then just putting it on with my finger. There we go. Just a little bit went a long way, and that ought to help without causing any issues. So the thermostat goes in like that. It's got its own little O-ring around it. I'm just gonna go ahead and pop it in. Ow. So I got each bolt in the water neck hand tight, and now I'm just going around and giving them like a couple little turns, switching to the other side, a couple turns, and going back and forth just to make sure that I tighten this thing down as evenly as possible. Ensure that I get it snug, but I don't want to like crank down on it and end up over tightening it and screwing anything up in here. I think it's on. Man, that went off and on way easier the second time than it did the first time, let me tell you. The last thing I need to do to get this put back together is just get the radiator hose back on the water neck, get it tightened down real tight, and then I'm just filling it back up with fluid. Kind of excited. I'm gonna take it for a good long drive and give it a little acceleration. I don't want to give it too much acceleration though. I don't want it to break down before I can sell it. No, seriously though, I want to make sure this car is not a piece of junk before I sell it. Well, at least do the best I can, you know? So I gotta do a little bit of testing just to make sure, you know, I can handle the rigors of daily driving and life before I sell it to a person that has the assumption that it can handle the rigors of daily driving and life. Snug. Man, my arms are getting a little beat up. Okay, pro tip that I just learned from a video not that long ago. You're supposed to pour it from the bottle sideways, and it eliminates spilling. Oh, look at that. That flows out nice and smooth. Wow, that is a much, much different color. This stuff's a nice yellowish color, whereas the stuff that's been coming out of the vehicle has been a very dark, thick, orangish color. So I wasn't sure throughout the process how bad that stuff was, but at this point I'm starting to think that I was right about it being pretty gross. So I'm just filling it up, letting it work its way down, refilling, letting it work its way down. And then once it stops, I'll start kind of pumping on those hoses a little bit and kind of, you know, work out any bubbles by squeezing on the upper radiator hose, the lower radiator hose. And then from there, I'll put the cap on and give it the rev. I've learned a lot about burping cooling systems in the making of this video. Well, I was just wondering why I just poured like 3.5, 4 gallons of fluid in it and it only takes 2.5, and was really concerned about what was going on. And I had the petcock still open. So it was just rolling out and I didn't even notice because I'm an idiot. Well, I don't understand how, because I'm the one who worked on it, but somehow this car right now is sitting there idling for a long period of time without overheating. I'm in shock. So I guess there's only one thing left to do at this point, and that's take it for a test drive. Let's go. Oh, okay. Well, the heat definitely works, so I got that going for me. Let's turn that down 900 notches. All right, here we go. We're heading to the country. There's 2 reasons why we're heading to the country. Number 1, the country is a better place to break down than the city. Number 2, license plates. Well, the heat works great and the air conditioning works great. This is really a smooth driving car for, Impala. So I guess there's 2 outcomes to this drive, obviously. Number 1, I overheat and I'm extremely devastated. Just devastated, because I have no idea at this point what it would be. And the other option is that it doesn't overheat, and I'm freaking pumped, because if it doesn't overheat at this point, we're good. Literally good. And I'm pretty sure right now that it's not gonna overheat, and that would be a hell of a victory. So far, so good. I'm gonna head to the gas station. She's running a little bit low on fuel, and fill it all the way up with some fresh gas. Unfortunately, I live in Illinois, and right now gas is like $4.30 a gallon. So maybe I'll just actually give it like a half a tank. I figured I'd treat the Impala to some of the finest fuel cleaner that you can get at the gas station. All right, seems to be holding temperature. I got a fresh tank of gas, got some fuel system cleaner in there. Time to go drive around the country roads and test this thing out a little bit. I've been driving around for about 15, 20 minutes now, and this car runs, drives, steers, handles, stops. Fine. Everything works. Everything works except for the radio. And I don't know if that has something to do with the battery issue or not, but I think that is the only thing on this car that has an issue at the moment. It is running and driving fantastic. Yes! Yes! Awesome. A water pump. $89 plus tax. Ha ha ha, you cannot beat that. Oh man, I can't believe it. I am pumped right now. This is pure joy at this moment. This is what it looks like. Man, this car runs so good, I kind of want to keep it. It'd be a nice daily commuter back and forth to work, save on some gas money right now. But I'm not going to keep it. That's why it's good to buy and sell cars like this. I've had the best luck buying and selling cars that I don't really want to keep. That 84 Corvette was supposed to be a flip, but now it's probably going to be a car I have for the rest of my life. But not this one. This one is getting sold, and the money is going to get put to good use. Restoring another broke down car that I'm actually going to keep. So, yeah, good times. I guess it wouldn't be an official YouTube test drive video if I didn't at least try to spin the tires once, so. Did you hear that? Roasted them. Cars are fun. Well, it looks like we're doing pretty good at the moment, so I'm just gonna shut this camera down for a little bit, enjoy a nice little country drive in my 09 Impala, and I'll see you back in the garage in a couple seconds. Well, that went really well. But before I can call this cooling system fixed, there's one more thing I have to do. and that's a quick pressure test. It's pretty simple. You just put one of these adapters onto your radiator. You get the little pump here, click it onto the top, pump it up full of air, and that gives it enough pressure to see if you have any leaks. I already got the one that I need on here already, so I just got to hook up the pump and we'll see what happens. So just click that on there. Good. It says you can pump it up to 18 psi right here, so I guess I'll give it 15 to 18 psi and we'll see. All right, that's 15 and it feels pretty tight. So first, I'm just gonna let that chill there for a while and see if it holds at 15. And while that's happening, I'm just gonna take a quick look around with the flashlight and see if I can find any leaks. Well, we are looking good. It's holding strong at 15 psi and there's no leaks at all. Boom, check it out, right where I left it. Well, that thing comes in handy. Well, mistakes were made along the way, and I had to learn a lot in the process, but I do believe the cooling system on this 2009 Impala is fixed. Between the water pump, thermostat, cooling system cleaner, coolant, fuel system cleaner, and gas, I'm in this for roughly another 200 bucks. So the grand total so far is only $550. But there's still work to be done though. I still gotta figure out what's up with the battery issue, do a few maintenance items on it, and put down a thorough detail on it before it's ready to sell. So if you're interested in seeing how this car turns out and what I end up getting for it, then please consider subscribing to see how things end up. Thank you so much for watching. I'll have the winner of the AC Delco kit and a new video for you next week. I'll see you then.